Congratulations to the class of 2025. Now go forth and make some money the boring way. I'm Michael Smerconish in Philadelphia. It's commencement season. This year's speakers, they include military leaders, politicians, sports stars, captains of industry, celebrities, even a famous frog. Admiral James Stavridis spoke at Adelphi. Henry Louis Gates at the Georgetown Law Center. Kermit the Frog at the University of Maryland. Sandra Oh will speak at Dartmouth, Grant Hill at Duke, and today President Trump will speak at West Point. They'll all be addressing many young graduates saddled with college debt and aspirations of making money. At present, the median net worth for somebody in their 20s, it's under $8,000. But too often the perception of where and how to make the most money is media and personality influenced. In television, film, and music, we glamorize Wall Street and Silicon Valley, not middle America. But business ownership in any town USA is increasingly the foundation for our very highest wage earners. As Juliet Chung of the Wall Street Journal recently reported, behind a paycheck, the largest source of income for the 1% highest earners in the U.S. isn't being a partner at an investment bank or launching a 1 in a million tech startup. It's owning a medium-sized regional business. Many of them are distinctly boring and extremely lucrative, like auto dealerships, beverage distributors, grocery stores, dental practices, and law firms. That analysis was based on the work of Owen Zidar, a Princeton University economist, and Eric Zwick, an economist at the University of Chicago. Dr. Zidar will join me in just a moment. The two are soon to publish a book on this very subject. They studied anonymized tax data from 2000 to 2022. Their focus, S corporations and partnerships, typical of those were medium-sized businesses with annual sales of 20 million and 100 employees. Their findings built off a previous academic paper for which they were co-authors called Capitalists in the 21st Century. From that analysis, quote, our findings draw attention to a class of entrepreneurs hidden from public view, who prevail among top earners and whose human capital income is key for understanding top incomes. The takeaway from both the prior and more recent analysis is that if we examine everyone in the United States and then focus on the top 10% of earners, for most, their main source of income is wages. But for the very top, those at the 0.1% level, it flips, and most of them are getting more of their income through profits from their businesses. Those businesses are typically not in finance, but rather they actively produce goods or services across diverse industries. Professors Zidar and Zwick, they gained access to data about who owns private jets and super yachts. And what do they find among the latter? Sure enough, dozens of auto dealers who live in random towns across America, and beverage distributors, and people like Dick Portillo. You're wondering who's he? Well, he's a guy who created $1 billion business empire by selling hot dogs. As Zidar explained to me recently, Portillo grew up in a Chicago housing project, didn't go to college, but as a hardworking ex-Marine, he started his business with a single hot dog stand in a parking lot and had to clean things in his bathtub. As a matter of fact, it had a ring around it from all the mustard. Portillo knew nothing at the start. He would sneak into the back of restaurants to learn how they did things. It was a huge struggle, he said. Growth came from passion and sacrifice and hard work. But over the years, his business grew along with his menu until today, Portillo's is one of the top casual dining chains with numerous spots, not just in Chicago, but around the country. When he met with private equity firms who wished to purchase his business, he told them that success won't come from an MBA, but from getting a PhD, a Portillo's hot dog. For a long time, it's been said, build a better mousetrap and the world will beat a path to your door. Nowadays, people would replace build a better mousetrap with build a better app. But as Portillo's demonstrates, it can be just as good to make a better hot dog. This Wall Street Journal article also had examples of entrepreneurs who defy stereotypes and show that you can make money at anything in America as long as you do it right. There's Derek Olson, his Minnesota-based business, National Flooring Equipment. They make machines that rip up flooring. He makes millions due to the need for carpet removal at elementary schools in particular. They've got a lot of carpet and the kids make a lot of mess. Then there's David McNeil. He dropped out of college and sold cars. On a trip to Scotland, he noticed they had superior car floor mats. So he took out a second mortgage, shipped over a bunch of these mats to sell. In the first year, he made $40,000. 2 years later, he made 10 times that amount. Today, his Illinois-based company, WeatherTech, you've heard of them. They sell hundreds of millions in auto accessories. The point is, America is still the land of opportunity. In fact, it may be truer today than it was 25 years ago. The data show that business owners worth $10 million or higher have more than doubled in the past quarter century, even adjusting for inflation. Sure, it's true that 1/3 inherited their businesses, but most are self-made. And many of these now 1%ers did not grow up themselves in privileged homes. They're ambitious, they're smart, but nor did they graduate from the most prestigious schools. In fact, many didn't go to college at all. And today, they don't live on the coasts. They tend to live somewhere in the middle of the country. There's even a name for this type of success coined by Professor Zadar. They're called the stealthy wealthy. Or, as a book first published in 1996 called them, the millionaires next door. The authors of that book, Thomas Stanley and William Danko, a compelling takeaway from that book was that many of the millionaires profiled were not doctors, lawyers, or executives, but skilled tradesmen and small business owners. And you could say that that book has aged well. Its authors found that a significant portion of millionaires were self-employed in what might be considered blue-collar or middle-market industries. Think plumbers, think electricians, contractors, or pest control operators. These individuals often built modest businesses over time. They exercised strict financial discipline and reinvested profits rather than indulging in lifestyle inflation. Unlike high-income professionals who sometimes live paycheck to paycheck in high-status neighborhoods, these tradesmen lived well below their means. They avoided debt. They focused on wealth accumulation rather than status signaling. As we discussed here recently, there's an overdue return now at play to teaching some of the trade skills to high school students rather than a continuation of the college for all mindset. Hopefully that will lead to more blue-collar workers getting to the 1%.